Does this look like you? If it is, you need to learn how to stop standing up through impact. So you're standing up through impact, or more commonly known as early extension. So what does that look like anyway? If I'm set up over a ball here, if I was to draw a line down my butt line there, as I make my swing, as I come down through the impact, typically the pelvis and the hips move forward, I get away from that line, and I hit the ball from there, and usually that results in my hands and arms get a lot higher. I need more wrists involved to flip at the ball, less power, less consistency, and a whole other range of problems. Now, important to know, standing up through impact or early extension, it's a reaction to something else you're doing wrong in the swing. I'm always amazed when I ask someone, I look at a swing and I say, what do you think you're doing wrong? And they say, I'm performing early extension. Well, the early extension is not the issue. It is a result of something else happening in the golf swing. Now, there's two main reasons you're early extending. Now, the first one is an open club face. So, and this starts as early as the takeaway, right from the get-go. If I go back, this face, that toe is more up to the sky, face is really open. If I continue that way in my backswing, on the downswing, your body knows this, your brain's very aware of it, and typically what will happen is you'll stand up out of your posture, you'll come across steep to give yourself room to hit across the ball and try and curve it back around towards the target. So an open club face is one of the main reasons, not the only one. I'll go through the other one in a second. It's something that I've struggled with. I'm going to show you how to fix it. So to fix your open face, again, it starts right from your grip. So if you're set up with your grip and you've got the grip of this club more in your palm, and you're only, say, maybe showing one knuckle on your lead hand, that's a very weak grip. Your right hand will typically be more on top of the grip like this, and that'll result in a lot of open face shots. So you can see here, the face will come through open. So what I'd like to see you do right from the start, get this grip more in your fingers, more over like this, and preferably with two knuckles showing on that lead hand if you can. And then with your trail hand, have it more underneath. You don't want it too strong, but you certainly don't want it very weak. And that will enable you to come through and square up that club face a lot easier. So with a squarer club face right from the start in your takeaway, you should be able to get somewhere around there where that face is more in line with my spine angle and the face is more pointing down this way. That is a lot more squarer. If you can do that, it will keep it square throughout the swing and you'll be a better chance of staying down more through impact instead of standing up. Now, the other common reason why you're standing up, this is something I've battled with, but managed to work through it and works fantastically well now. My problem, and a very common one that you might do, is sliding. Now, I'll show you from this angle first actually. Now, sliding in the backswing I'm specifically want to talk about first. So if I'm set up here, this right hip and my head, my upper body will move too far this way. Okay, that's sliding the backswing. Now what happens when you do that, this is extremely important, when you slide, what it does is it takes away that space that I need to get that club shallow and a lot more on the inside on the downswing. So typically what happens, if you slide and don't rotate enough in the backswing, on the downswing, your pelvis and your hips will stand up, give yourself room to drop the club more on the inside, hit the golf ball. Very, very common. So sliding is a real killer in your golf swing, particularly that backswing. Now the other thing that sliding does for a typical sort of more of an average sort of player, maybe a higher handicapper, when they slide like this, typically they'll come down steeper over the top to give themselves that space that's been taken away here and cut across the golf ball. So that's the other thing that happens. You'll either early extend like this and try and get the inside path, or you'll just simply go over the top. So the very first thing you need to do, and I'm going to assume you've fixed up your grip, you've got a square club face, you need to get more hip depth and get that trail hip working back in your backswing. So this is what it looks like from this angle. I'll just draw a line down the back there. As you make your backswing, I want you to feel like this trail hip moves back this way, away from the golf ball. Not this way and not this way, but back away from the golf ball. When you do that, you create hip depth. And when you create depth, look at all this extra space I've got here to be able to come through on the inside. And that will encourage you to not stand up through impact. So from face on, watch this trail hip. I want it to move back. It's rotating, but it's rotating in more of a centered turn, and it's moving back, creating depth. I'm getting space. Space for the hands and arms to come through to impact. Now in the downswing, typically if you're someone that's been sliding or you had that weak grip, sometimes what will happen also, you'll have a tendency, if you've slid this way, as you start down, this lead shoulder will come up really quickly like that. Or if you've slid your hips too far this way, the lead hip and the lead shoulder will go up really quickly. It'll cause you to lose these angles with your wrists, and you hit a lot of fat shots as you're standing up through impact. So it looks something like that. That lead shoulder, lead hip will go up really quickly. Now, if you fix your grip, sometimes that will just disappear. You won't do that anymore. Again, if you get more hip depth, quite often your lead shoulder on that will work the way it should function, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. However, you may need to feel, I'll show you from this angle actually, the exact opposite to make this whole thing blend together. So the exact opposite of lead shoulder and lead hip going up quickly is lead shoulder and lead hip going down now. So as we go up here, I'm going to go lead shoulder, lead hip, down. Now you'll notice as soon as I do that, I obviously get lower to the ground, but look what happens to my wrist angles. I can maintain those wrist angles a lot easier from here, here, and then through. A lot more balanced golf swing. You can maintain your angles from this angle here. We've got our hip depth. We go down, lead shoulder, lead hip, and then through. Much easier to stay in your posture and will stop you standing up through impact. Okay, let's have a look at one again. Hip depth, lead shoulder, lead hip, down and through. Now it's important when you're working on this, you don't just take this information, go straight out to the golf course and try and just make swings at 100% and hit the golf ball, because what you'll find is it just won't work. So you need to really build into this and build some muscle memory through each piece of the swing. So we've got our grip right. We want to get that hip depth. So this is how I want you to practice. You're going to get your hip depth there, and you're going to go to here. And you're going to practice that over and over as much as you have to. And you're just going to do it slowly and then build up to doing really slow shots, doing little pump drills. So you'll just go here. We got depth, left shoulder down, left hip down, down. And you can start hitting one. You don't have to hit this at full speed. In fact, I don't recommend it. You need to build it up slowly, piece by piece. Not hitting balls is a great way to do it. You're just going to be going hip depth, lead shoulder, lead hip down, and then swing. The more you do that, the more you'll find you'll be able to maintain that posture. You won't have a need to stand your body up like that. There'll be no desire. The body will know this. The body won't want to do this because you've got a square club face. You've already got that hip depth here. And if you get that lead shoulder and that lead hip down, that first part of the downswing, you'll find it easier to maintain those wrist angles and swing through. Now this will work, irons, drivers, hybrid, 3-wood, 5-wood, whatever you've got, works for every club in the bag. I want you to drop me a comment down below if you've tried this before. Has it worked for you? I think this is a really powerful move. I've personally been doing this recently, particularly with this left shoulder lead hip low. It's transforming my ball striking. I'm hitting a lot of push draws. I'm making solid contact right through the bag just by getting that depth and that little move there. The whole swing is flowing together. So leave me a comment down below. I want to get your feedback on that. There's a video coming up you need to watch. It's talking about how the shoulders move in the golf swing and how they don't turn as much as you think. So make sure you watch it. I'll see you on it.